Hey, everybody, we're back. This is a bit of a unique show this week, folks. We want to try to do a tight 30 minutes. It ended up being like 35. Look, brief isn't necessarily my strong suit. This game is, I've got too much information in my head about this game to do super brief. But I think it was pretty good. I think it was pretty good. We'll see. So, we got pre-roll ads, of course. Of course. Well, we're going to dive in now to Q&A. Look, you get a long Q&A session today, folks. So if you've got questions, throw them in chat with question colon, as you can see down at the bottom. Bot. To put question in. Oh, it did. It did for me. Thank you, Mubot. I appreciate that. So yeah. We're gonna have 90 minutes of Q&A. Yeah, we are live. Yeah, I know, a little unusual, but we wanted that just shortcut and not necessarily a highlight. For reasons, for other reasons. So if you have questions, throw them in chat. I will. Wow, there's a few here. I think people were confused about what was going on, so we only have a few right now. But please, I'm here for the next, well, I guess now 80 minutes to answer whatever questions you might have. If you're a new player or old, hey, everybody's got questions at time. Niskis asks a dirty question. Gaarawarr's Guide to Drifting and Idle Champions anytime soon. No, we will not be discussing that topic anymore. Developers have made their thoughts on that clear, and all right. Starchaser with a nice comment. I thought you did a great job. Did you do lots of practicing? I can't do that. I am not somebody who can like write out speeches and then read them or practice them. That does not help me at all. What happens with my brain is if I do that and then I forget one thing, the rest of it's toast and I'm done. So for me, I have to have like notes and then know the topic. Just have to know the topic. And then I just make sure I hit bullet points, which I did. Took me just a little longer, and then we had to fly a little more quickly through, what's to come in the future. But yeah, that's my brain can't do like the speeches rehearsed, like memorizing. It can't do that kind of stuff. For things like this, yeah. Let's see. Alvin asks how to display the campaign Trials of Mount Tiamat. You have to unlock Trials of Mount Tiamat. It is not available when you start. It is part of it is unlocked via permanent progression. It's a bit of a spoiler. I'm going to give it to you. But as you progress down through these campaigns on the campaign banner, starting off with Grand Tour, then you dip into Tomb, then you do to Waterdeep, then you go to Baldur's Gate. You should kind of try to do them somewhat in order, at least the base adventures. In order, unlock the evergreens, move on. You don't have to necessarily do all the variants and everyone as you're progressing, but that's the idea, because it gets more difficult as you go down. Once you complete Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, so that means finish, successfully complete El Terrell's Last Stand, it will unlock access to Trials of Mount Tiamat. You'll have to refresh your client, you have to restart your client, and then this button will appear. And clicking on it will take you to an adventure called The Mad God, which is kind of the story. It's there to deliver the story of what's going on in Trials of Mount Tiamat. So if you want to understand why Trials of Mount Tiamat, read the story of when you're doing The Mad God. Super easy adventure. And then once you complete it, you will get access to, I can't open this up because, well, no, I can actually. You'll get access to runs like this, a menu where you can join runs in different difficulty levels. I'm on the tier 10, which is the highest tier. And we're doing our run. It should be fine. Looks like we had, somebody had an issue, or maybe they might be on that run right now. Who knows? It'll be fine. We can like 3-person that at this point. So yeah, that's how you get access to Trials of Mount Tiamat. It's just there isn't really anything for you to do, even if they showed you the button before you can get there. So you wouldn't have the power to complete it, right? But when you get to it, when you complete El Terrell's Last Stand, for you to have the power to complete El Terrell's Last Stand, that then means you have the power to start doing Trials of Mount Tiamat and be just fine for multiple tiers. So it's kind of, progress gated, but in a good way, because otherwise you'd just be beating your head against it and be mad that you couldn't do anything. Also, you can only add a legendary effect from the forge, which is the scales of Tiamat there they're my loot for the forge. You earn those from trials, and then you forge them into legendary effects. You can only forge legendary effects onto epic equipment, and it takes you a little while to start getting lots of epic equipment. Bruner's gonna die. Let's level Bruner up. Bruner has no wave clear. Yeah. Rough Rider. If Dritz were to offer some helpful suggestions, would he be the leader of the companions of the tutorial? No. We need questions, folks. We need questions. Someone said any free t-shirt giveaways? No. We don't have giveaways. We don't have giveaways on this show. You want a giveaway, you got to go to Dev Insights. Dev Insights has the world famous 42 gold chest giveaway. Captions is calling it a person. Devin Sites. No, Dev Insights. There we go. Captions got it. I just had a pause. Just gotta pause. Oh boy. Folks, what's going on? I forgot. Hey, daily rewards. I gotta claim both of those. I just claimed the one from the top track. We have a Construct Emergence event. Oh, I was a little worried. I've been forgetting to check this, but I have been doing free plays pretty much consistently. So as long as you're doing free plays every day, get your daily quest done. It's just 100 constructs. They show up in any free play. It doesn't, so you don't have to go hunt them down. But just make sure you're getting this daily quest, because half of the total corrupted gems you can earn during an emergence event come just from doing the dailies. Just from the dailies. Let's do that. And I picked up... Yeah, I picked up both the skins. I was like, those skins are great. I picked up both the skins already, and now I gotta decide. Do I want to wait... I want to wait 3 months for these. This is actually a pretty large vampiric gaze feed. I don't know about that one as much, but I don't know that thing is dead. I don't know. There's functionality there that's nice. I don't. Oh, and there's this one. This was the one I was going to buy next. Okay. Alignment change. This alignment change is pretty strong for Shadowheart. Not only does it allow her to be used in evil formations, but it also means you can slot this beforehand. You can use her in Mert. So it opens up an entire patron for her. So I wanted to do that for sure. Still need to... I don't like this. I don't like this. Didn't care for either of those last time. I don't think these are... Keep away isn't important. This unlocks a patron for Bobby. You know what? Yeah, I'll take an entire patron access. Okay. Okay, some functionality stuff that I'd rather have right away than wait. Remember those gem feats, or those gem feats, those emergence feats, corrupted gem feats. After they fall out of the emergence, 3 months later, they will be available for gems. So for a new one like that, it would be 6 months from now, and I'd rather just have access to it, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure about those make undead feats. I feel like if I'm going to use them and I care about dead, I'm probably bringing Cass in with like Desmond to make people dead. Cass can just make everyone dead. So I don't know that I'm super worried about those feeds. But I say that, and then I'll probably dive into a patron variant somewhere, and I won't be able to use Cass, and then I'll be like, ah. But it's fine. I'll just do it later. I should just... No, yeah, well, it's fine. I've done a Mad Wizard speed farm and a burial. Sure, why not? I should just... There's an easier way to do this. Close all these. I wish I could open up the Modron while all of those were open and just do this so that it would... But I wouldn't have to... but I literally just... What do you want to bet? I selected it and it didn't load in. Oh, it's a Briv Gem farm. There we go. Now it'll auto-update everything. Much easier. Much easier. Dromaro, is it Dromaro or Dr. Omaro? That's going to... Constantly going to... I mean, look, you went to medical school. I want to put some respect on your name. But no, are there any good ways to gauge what difficulty of trials you're able to... Ooh, that's a good question. Ultimately, you'd kind of just have to try it, right? Dromaro, okay, cool. Or Dromaro. You kind of just have to try it. Again, tier 1, if you've unlocked trials, you can do tier 1. And honestly, you can do tier 1 solo. So you can definitely do tier 1. You can't skip difficulties, so you have to just attempt it anyway, to see if you can do it and to move up. I know a lot of people are hesitant. They're like, oh, I don't want to do a group thing and not be able to contribute. But the reality is the first few tiers are super straightforward. And when done in a group, you can absolutely smoke it. Last time I started a new account, I think I had mostly blue gear. I'd have to go back and check the VODs. But I completed through tier 6 with groups just fine. I think I could have completed tier 7. I had, over time I had leveled up my champions to have like a average 50 item levels, right? But you're in the mid game once you've got a foot in the mid game once you unlock trials, so investing in your trials pushing team is important. But the best way really to think about it is when you're doing whatever tier you're currently on, pay attention to how far beyond the area goals you're able to push. Because ultimately that's what it comes down to. Because the higher tiers just move the goalpost in terms of the area that you have to get to on each of the daily quests from day 1 through 7. So take a look at how far you're able to push with your current team on the tier you're on, because it doesn't change, oddly enough, it doesn't necessarily change the difficulty of the enemies. It changes Tiamat's health pool, but not the general difficulty of the enemies on the way there. So doing a run, one run is going to be the same as, and one tier is going to be the same as any other tier, basically. The difference is just going to be Tiamat's going to have more health as you go up. So see how far you're able to push. Can you do all those daily goals? Or can you do at least 5? Well, probably just at least 4 out of 7. 4 out of 7, if everyone if everyone can do 4 out of 7, you're good. He's probably toast at that point. But really, if you're trying to look at it, yeah, good. So back from 3-year hiatus, so I forgot my impression. Okay, made to 1100 my last run. Oh yeah, you're fine. I mean, that's going to get you through day 1 of things. Hold on, I've got a guide for that for a reason, because I can't keep this stuff memorized. Hold on. Let me look at the health pool. Well, actually, the area goal. So, 11. If you went to 1100-ish, yeah, 1000 is day 1. But what you have to remember, 1100-ish, then you want to go. 1100 is day 5 of tier 10. So, if you're able, and again, remember, there's different day one restrictions. There's a lot of different restrictions they could stack. So, keep in mind that for that restriction, you can go to 1100-ish. Start watching the different restrictions and see how far are you able to go in each of those. But I feel like if you're at 1100-ish, you can do most of them. You could definitely do tier 9, because tier 9 doesn't even tier 9 stops at 1050. So tier 9 you could probably smoke easily in most, if not all, restrictions. So tier 10 seems to be probably where you should be able to rest at. Because remember, you're going to have 4 other people with you, and hopefully they can also do the same thing. And you get to a point in tier 10 is the easiest one to kind of pug, in my opinion, because there's specifically because there's a larger group of people available. We hear a lot of challenges of trying to find groups at lower tiers because everybody's moved beyond those tiers. So unless you have other new players coming up with you, it can be hard to get a lot of groups. But the largest pool, all of the consistent player base, a lot of them are at tier 10 now, so should be good. Lord Torek, when are you ready to move gem farming from Mad Wizard to Roots of Loomlurch or other places? Good question. So Mad Wizard is kind of baby's first gem farm. So, as you start collecting some speed champions, if you want to AFK and just earn some gems instead of AFK progress and missions, like you've got here's the thing. You have a Modron core with automation and you can just cycle somewhere, like when you go to work. You just drop it into Mad Wizard, right? Once you have once you have a almost full, at least almost full formation, because you got to remember, Mad Wizard's 9 champions. Roots of Loomlurch is Wild Beyond the Witchlight, so you will have had to progress to Wild Beyond the Witchlight. That's one of the qualifiers, and clear all the way up to the Roots of Loomlurch to get access to the free play. There's a qualifier right there. Once you have access to this, if you have mostly or all most or above speed champions in a group that you can fill this out with, probably time to start doing this. It has what are called quick transitions. The community refers to as quick transitions. So instead of this screen wipe that has like champions rushing off to the side and then rushing in from the other side, it still does a screen wipe, but it cuts out the champion's movements. You're sitting in one place and then it transitions. That's a quick transition. Doesn't sound like that would be a lot of time savings, but it is. It is when you're cycling like this and with speed potions. So that's kind of when you're going to look at that, like where you're like, well, I've got a bunch of speed champions. They're fairly decent, and I've unlocked Roots of Loomlurch. You might as well switch because the functionality of it is going to be quicker than Mad Wizard in general. I think the big question that you're like trying to figure out is, when do you know you should start Briv gem farming instead of regular gem farming, right? And part of that is, well, what's your Briv at? Like, how much of an investment have you put into him now? I am now at a 7 jump Briv, but I think nowadays it used to be that if you had like, if you could skip one area and you had like a 20% chance to skip 2, you could earn more gems Briv gem farming than you could in Mad Wizard. But that was Mad Wizard. Roots of Loomlurch is much more efficient. So I feel like you probably don't even dip into Briv gem farming now. Here's my voice. You probably don't dip into Briv gem farming now until you're at least at a 2 skip or higher. But it's hard to say because, yeah, it's just hard to say now. I don't know if anybody's done the modern math on that. If they have, I haven't seen it referenced in posts. You post stuff in the Discord, it just gets lost. You need like posts that you can easily with explanations and stuff. I was trying to dive in and try to figure out, hey, what's the best way to do 7 jumps? There is not a lot of information out there, unfortunately, past like the basic 4 jump available, which is unfortunate. Because it does get more complicated above 4 gem. So yeah, I mean, so there's going to be different transitions and different efficiencies. Some people wait until they're just at a 4 jump to do Briv gem farming. Definitely a bigger deal. My 4 jump, just for reference, my 4 jump Briv, when I left the game running 24 hours a day, using just like these 2 speed potions or these 2, they either pair would give me 10x speed. But not the 7-day gem potion. I was earning 1,000,000 gems a day. That's a 4 jump. That's a optimized 4 jump Briv. With everybody else that's in that formation, if they have a speed item, they're at their cap or at an efficient place. Yeah. So, it is a lot of gems switching to Briv. It's a lot of work to figure out. And there's some constant maintenance, but it's worth it if you're trying to chase lots of item levels on champions, building up strength across all of your roster, or diving into specific groups, really trying to boost their power for progress and stuff like that. Yeah. Headless Chicken, how do I get Dritz? That one's real straightforward. So Dritz Do'Urden is the first evergreen champion that you can get. I didn't talk about the difference in champions in that quick video, but that's fine. And so he is available in this second adventure node. So this is the tutorial node, Brief Tour of the Realms. This is your first adventure node. This is your second adventure node. And under Deep Cartography, there is an adventure. There's a variant called Overdue Rendezvous. You just have to complete this. Now, you're going to be down a champion, so you only have 8. You got to go to area 175. So you need to be able to do Under Deep Cartography, like the regular adventure, and pass area 175, and do that with only 8 champions. But the reward, when you do, is Dritz Do'Urden. That's actually the first milestone, the first part of the milestone I have in my new player reference, is unlocking Dritz. The second part is getting your second global blessing, the second tier of global blessings in Sword Coast. So this right here, the Gem Hunter. Because gems are just so important, and you're so gem starved early on that sticking around in the Grand Tour of the Sword Coast to grab Dritz and grab this, good for you. Dritz isn't necessarily going to be a ton of help early on. I mean, he's a solid DPS now. He's not going to be amazing for you. But, but this Gem Hunter is good. You're going to carry these bonuses through everything else you do in the game. And it may be just one more per boss. So there's 10 bosses on a area 50 adventure, right? There's one every 5 areas. So that's 10 more gems right there. Like, it adds up. It really does. It really does. You don't necessarily have to worry about the rest first. So usually I recommend Dritz and this, and then bouncing to Tomb of an Eye. Any more? No more questions, folks. We got a lot of people here. I know we lost some because of the restart. Some people probably left. Did I hear about a newsletter and a free champion? I didn't mention the free champion. I just said free stuff. Yeah, sign up for the newsletter, folks. If you haven't yet, sign up for the newsletter. Click on and enter a valid email address. Not only will you get free stuff once a week, free chest once a week, you'll also get Hitch. Hitch is a champion swap here for Delina. And since Delina is a core DPS, pure DPS, you have too many pure DPS in the core champions, so you don't necessarily need her. You can switch into a support. He's a great support early on. Well, he's a great support throughout the game. He's solid. He just has a restriction of requiring people who have like a high charisma. But early on, you have multiple champions with that. So he makes a great support when you're starting out. Who is Briv? We just talked about Briv. Don't meme me like that. Briv is arguably one of the most overpowered champions in the game. Even now. He can tank, he can heal, he can buff, and he goes fast. what did they do? They broke this. Or I broke this? Look at this. What is going on? I broke something. What is this? Is this on everybody? Oh no. I don't know why we're seeing these. Everyone's is like that? Okay. Wow. Well. Wow, Rough Rider. When will you be doing the Welcome to Idle Champions retake? Honestly, if Dylan's not happy with that take, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I'll have to record it offline. It should be fine. Well, I will hear soon enough, I am sure. Headless Chicken, should I be buying those marvelous support pigments? Yeah, I think so. So here, let's talk a little more about the Thayan Enclave. Since we're in the middle of an Emergence event, like where should you spend your corrupted gems? Now I obviously I made some educated decisions. I bought skins because I thought they were great, and fun, and why not? At my point in the game, I'm fine spending some power, or giving up some power in exchange for some fun with skins. And I bought those feats just for accessibility things. But they're not necessarily giving you power. And like this is an evergreen champion, and that item is not great for him. This is a recent event champion, and giving him health. Yeah, I don't think it's really gonna help a whole lot. This is another deep, even further deeper in the game evergreen champion. That's not going to be useful for most people. And this is a healing item for Cass, and healing in this game at higher levels isn't super important, so I'm not interested in that. If you're newer, if you're still in the early game and you've got Cass, it might be a big deal for you, but it isn't for me. Feats are, again, they're kind of like a preview. Unless it was something amazing. I don't like if you were maining Cass as your primary DPS, this feat might be worth it for you, right? 120% damage. But a marvelous support pigment gives you triple damage to your formation. Straight up triple damage. Right? Cass was just 120%. Right? This is 200%. To anybody that's in that you put this on a support champion, and anyone you put that support champion with, it gets triple damage. This is a large amount of power for only 7,000 gems, right? That feat was 10,000. The golden epics are 20,000, and a golden epic is just double power of that item slot. Now, some item slots that could be a big deal on, but not all. So triple is the way to go. It's also guaranteed power. So instead of spending, you could press your luck 3 times. Let's say you opened this one and you got an epic for someone. That epic isn't a triple in power. Same for this one. Supply chests are consumables, so that's not really going to give you triple power. And a Modron component chest, it's really gambling. 3 chests. I've opened 30 chests. I think we're up to 6 straight weeks without getting a pipe that I need. That's useful to me. Now, early on, all pipes are useful, sure, but those they aren't going to give you triple power, right? So this is the biggest source of power. Now, the limiter is you can only put it on an epic piece of equipment. And generally speaking, you want to use it on event champions. Like you would want to invest this power into the people you're going to be using in Trials of Mount Tiamat. If you're early on, you won't even know who that is going to be. And most of your epics are going to be on your core champions or an evergreen like Hitch or Dritz. But buying these while they're available and then holding on to them for the future is a solid investment in your future power. I will be buying some of these. I will. For me, I have a lot of champions. I wish you could. Can we search by pigmented? I don't think we can. Oh, we can. Has pigment. Okay. So it has pigment. All of these champions have pigments on them. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're supports. Yeah, they're support pigments. Very few would have pure DPS. Like, I don't really do that. I think I put my DPS pigments on Carlock, actually. I did. So we got a lot of... Cadbury has one. But so we've got a lot of support pigments. I've got a lot of support pigments, and they're on solid support champions. In fact, probably a little too diverse. I probably put them on too many, but I'm okay with that. Because what I did is I'd put like one on all of the things in a group, and then I'd go back, and if I was really using that, so then I'd use 2. And then if I was continuing to use them, I'd use 3. Now, Ayla, obviously, I was using a lot for a while, but not enough to put 3 on. Birdsong has 3. Firelock has 6 support pigments, and 6 tanking pigments, and 3 DPS pigments. And if I can get 3 more DPS pigments, she'll have those too. I use her everywhere. That she's my main DPS. But she has the other tags, so I can put all the others on her too. So I do want more support pigments. I do want to get... Eventually, I'd love to get all of my champions that have as a support tag, up to 6 support pigments. But that's super long-term goal. The only way to do that quickly is with cash, right? To buy those corrupted gems. And I'm just getting it with what I'm earning over time. Steve, are they ever going to do cross-platform accounts? I mean, as with anything, never say never, but for 7 years, they've basically been saying, no. And the reasons are multifold, right? One of the biggest reasons is that the platforms that they're on don't necessarily like to share. So you have to set up different contracts. I believe it's a different contract system for you to do cross-platform stuff, and that is, and platforms obviously they're probably going to want bigger cuts, right? Because what they don't want is for you to buy stuff on one platform and then come and use their platform and enjoy all of those purchases on their platform, and they get nothing out of it, right? So yeah, not necessarily. So that's a problem. The other problem is to have to do cross-platform correctly. Every platform has to be on the same patch, the same version. Everything has to be the same. That is a difficult task, just in the best of situations. This is a small indie developer, and one of the things. So that's not. It's not. They've tried it on a past game, and so coming into this game, they were like, that wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth the headache. So everyone has their own. Everyone can be on different patches, which allows them to do like quick fixes on like Steam, which was the original platform. Make sure that they're working, and then propagate them out to other places if they need to, or sometimes they're trying to patch all of them at once. Sometimes they do that, but it does create a much bigger issue for them developmentally to try to do cross-platform support. And this isn't the kind of game that usually that's a big priority for. Usually that's like multiplayer games where you want to have the largest, where you want everybody in a pool to be able to compete against each other. They obviously, multi-platform is a quality of life. Some people want to be able to play like on their PlayStation and then switch and play on their phone, right? Like, I get it, but yeah, the game wasn't designed to do that. Tomorrow, I see support pigments in the thing in Enclave. Are there sources for the other pigments? Not currently. Not really. What they've been doing lately is you'll get a few of them as a reward for completing either tier 3 or tier 4 of an event for a champion. They might give you some for that. One or more. Depending on how giving they're being. We sourced some of these from other places in the past. So there used to be a system called Seasons in the game. It has since gone to live on a farm upstate. No, you can't visit it. And that used to be a way that they delivered some of the other types of pigments. So there's tanking pigments, which boost your health, the health of the champion that they're on. There's DPS pigments which only boost the DPS of the champion they're on. And there is one healing pigment in the game. That one healing pigment came, it's like, I think, a tier 4 reward for Penelope. And it boosts the healing the party receives. Not even from the champion it's on, just the healing the party receives. Real strong. They've only got one in the game. So they're kind of doling them out that way currently. I think they just got to make a decision about how to introduce the others. Support pigments are the ones you need the most of because there's more support champions in the game than anything else. Like there's more champions with the support role than anything else. So that's kind of been the main focus. Lick the sofa. No, I'm not gonna. If you already have Eric's Golden Epic, is it worth getting another? No. How would you already have it? Oh, maybe you used a golden potion on it? And then the epic golden is in the enclave still? No, it would be horrible. It would be an enormous waste because all it would do, duplicate gilding currently only gives you 125 item levels on the item. They don't stack. So it would be a real waste of your resources to do that. Generally speaking, they try to prevent duplicate goldens, but because they introduced these potions, epic golden potions, there are some cases where you could make something golden and then the golden would be available, like in this case. You wouldn't want to do that. It would be an absolute waste. Jam, if my wall is dependent on my tanks dying. Okay, hold on. If my wall is dependent on my tanks dying before my DPS can do enough DPS to the boss's enemies, does that mean I need to increase the item level of my tanks over my DPS? So basically you're pushing, and what's happening is your tanks are dying before you can kill things. That is how the game is designed. I want to be clear. First off. That is how the game is currently designed. The idea is that if you are not able to continue, if you don't have the damage to push forward, you'll die. Now there are obviously there is a variety of reasons you could be dying before you're able to do enough damage. So you're saying, okay, so this is different. Your DPS is high. Well, you're not one-shotting them, but you would be able to wear through them, you think, if the tanks could survive longer. So let's talk about tank survivability. There are multiple ways to boost the tank survivability. One of the things that you need to determine is, are they dying because they're getting overwhelmed, right? Every tank has an overwhelm number. Brivs is currently, Brivs is baseline 30, most are 25. Some can be lower. This means, so are they getting this number of enemies or higher? And then they're dying? Because what happens is when you hit the overwhelm point, before overwhelm, let's say he's taking 29 enemies, taking normal damage from them. The second he gets over 30, the second he reaches 30, he's now overwhelmed and he's taking bonus damage from everyone attacking him. And the higher it gets, the more bonus damage he's taking. So if it's that you are fine until you have enough enemies there that you're getting overwhelmed and then they're falling over, you can look at adding an overwhelm feat, right? They have overwhelm feats. Briv has too many. He can get his overwhelm way too high. Like, just one feat can get him to 50. It's ridiculous. But technically he could get to 65 if you think that was the problem. Now, if you aren't getting to the overwhelm point and they're dying before that, then you add health, then you add pure health. There's feats for that. But also there's potions for that, right? This is where how these health potions come in handy. And each of these types of potions stack multiplicatively with themselves, with the others. Different rarities stack multiplicatively. These stack additively, but these stack multiplicatively. Also, remember, tanks have a health share feature, right? If I look over on Sentry, one of her abilities is that she increases the health of all the other champions of the formation by 25% of her health. She's going to share health with other tanks in the formation. So sometimes, even if this is a single champion frontline, but one of the things that you can do to boost the survivability in a single champion frontline is to have a big beefy tank up front, but then have another tank supporting in the back. Someone who is maybe a better support than a tank, like Eric. Eric is a better support than he is a tank. He's not great. He's not a great tank. He's not a great tank. Even if you give him health, he's not a great tank. I say this with an Eric that has where's Eric at? Has a shiny 2,280 item level health item. Kind of falls over. He kind of falls over at a higher level compared to other tanks. He's just not a great tank. But he's a great support and he's great at gold finds. So, he's making up for it. Right? So he would be a good option to use as a support tank, like somebody who's, in the back of the formation while someone in the front is tanking. But this is also a thing we need to talk about. Not all tanks are created equal. Not all tanks, even if they have the same overwhelm, and sometimes even if they have the same health, they don't tank the same. Because some tanks have abilities that allow them to tank better. Like Briv. Briv straight up has his first ability. Briv takes 10% less damage. Sure. A later ability is, as long as he can survive for either 10 seconds or 10 hits, he heals the entire party, including himself. Which means it's a delayed damage reduction. And with some of the healing bonuses in the game you can get, it's 100% of the damage he's taken, which means as long as you can't kill him in 10 hits or 10 seconds, you can't kill him at all. Right? Giving a mix of him to like making sure he has lots of health and getting his overwhelm up high makes him basically unkillable for most of the game. There is going to be a point you reach. Kind of like I don't have a tank here, so we're getting steamrolled. There's going to be a point we reach in this game now that they've raised, even for end game players, they've raised the hard cap on areas that you can progress up to 2501. There's a point somewhere in the 2200s, 2300s where even a tank like Briv falls over. Just can't survive. Can't even take 10 hits. Even with other people helping, even with tons of health. There are a couple tanks in the game whose tanking system is designed in a way that it kind of mimics enemies that you see that have segmented health, like hit-based and armor, like hit-based health and armor. And so if we're so they are kind of superior tanks for super deep stuff. Now, they may not have, now again, when we're looking at a champion that has multiple roles, tanking and support, if they're a super strong tank, they may not have the support. It might have less support. So, you might have to come up with damage somewhere better. But Krydle, for instance, has a very unique tanking mechanic. He has overwhelm, he has health, and his health, can scale a bit. You actually don't want to choose his health, as odd as that might sound. You want to just lean into his buffing, in my opinion. Because Krydle exists, his health is garbage. I think this health is what he's getting from like my Modron core or something. because he tanks via evasion. He is a dodge tank. He just doesn't get hit up to a point. He is the hit-based tank of Idle Champions. So Cradle begins every area with stacks of evasion equal to his overwhelm. So he can take 25 hits. He can dodge, effectively, or evade attacks 25 times before it actually hits his health pool. Now, when he gets attacked, as long as he has at least one stack of evasion left, he dodges the attack completely and uses up one stack of evasion. But he restores 2 stacks every second for each healing champion in the formation, whether they're healing him or not. Because again, they just have to be in the party because he's not taking damage. He doesn't need to be healed. You just have to have people with a healing tag in the party, and he's going to regenerate this overwhelm. Okay? And you can boost his overwhelm with overwhelm feats, right? We can get him another 15. We can put him up to 40. So he is basically a hit-based champion with regeneration if you have people with a healing tag in the party with you. Now, when you get to boss enrage, any kind of enrage mechanic, the enrage mechanics exist to kill things quickly, so he will then fall over quickly if they start to enrage. That works properly with Cradle. But effectively, he's a hit base because they got to hit him enough times that he runs out of his evasion stacks. He loses them faster than he regains them. Then you will eventually kill him. But it means it doesn't matter how hard they're hitting him, because they're not hitting him until that one blow gets through, which makes him an incredible tank for super high level pushing. I don't know if that's going to help you with your form, because it's formation dependent, because it depends on the healers you have, right? There's another tank. He does some other stuff that's cool, but we're not going to get on that. Let's just talk about tanking capabilities. There's another tank that normally I wouldn't put. I'll be honest. Normally I wouldn't put Miria in a tanking position. Normally I would put her further back in the formation because she has the ability to reduce the damage tanks are receiving. She takes 90% of the damage away from the person that's up here. Like if I was using a Briv up here, she would soak up with this zombie, this little bodyguard. She would soak up 90% of the damage all the way back here, and Briv would only take 10%, which is an amazing survival. Even in this game where we're dealing with large numbers, that's a big damage transfer, and it can keep Briv alive longer, right? Especially for a Briv who needs that 10 hits or 10 seconds to then heal up. And what happens is when Miria's health pool is depleted and she gets down to 0, she has clones. And the number of clones she has are based off how far you've progressed. So when she dies, her health pool is done, a clone pops up, a clone immediately refills her health pool, and you get to go again. It is effectively an armor system. Except unlike armored enemies that you have to do a minimum amount, like you have to one-shot 8 armor chunk, they slowly wear down this. But her health pool is effectively an armor chunk. Because until you fully remove it, you haven't consumed a clone and you haven't removed a segment. She can't regain those segments when they're lost, but she can just sit and heal her health pool up until you remove one and then she'll lose a clone. So she is another, if it wants, you can use her this way, or you can put her up here, and she can't be one-shot. Neither her nor Cradle can be one-shot by a boss. Just walk up, bam, dead. Every other tank in the game can be. Okay. Now, so these tanks are not created equal, but, there's trade-offs for using these over others. Like you might need more power in the rest of your formation, yada, yada, yada. Miria can provide a lot of power, but it's delayed. The more clones that get burned on an area, the more she buffs, but that leaves you a very small window where she's about to die, but you have a lot of power. Hopefully you can kill things at that point, or else you're not going any further. There are champions in the game that can keep people alive, right? Like they're about to die and they can prevent that death, and maybe in the time that they're alive, they can help you move forward. One of them is Mr. Baloth. if Kreidel were, did burn through all of his evasion stacks, and then they went to hit him and kill him, Mr. Baloth's Jin Najim would keep Kreidel alive at 1 HP and make him invulnerable from anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. And then buff the party based off that. That might be enough time for you to finish what you're doing if adding Baloth to your formation gives you enough power to progress, right? There's always trade-offs of power and progression. And you kind of gotta figure that out with what you're doing. So that was a long explanation, but it's because there's a lot going on there when it comes to trying to figure out, like, why are your tanks dying? Like, that's the first stop. Why are they dying? Is it because do they just not have enough health to get overwhelmed? Then you add more health. Are they dying because they're overwhelmed? The first thing you do, maybe add an overwhelm feat. You may want to add a combat. You may want to add an overwhelm feat and a health feat, right? Look at other tanks. Look at other survivability features. There's a lot going on there, but ultimately the game is literally designed around the concept of tanks fall over, go boom before you can kill things, as determining your wall. Rough Rider, who should I time gate between Tatiana, Jing Sao, or Caddy Brie? I have all the champions. You may be like me, where you have all the champions and you have full epics. So, like in these cases for Natural Time Gate Weekend, they're all. I have all the champions. I have all the full epics. So what I do is look at item levels. She's got over 1,000. She's got 409, but Dungeon Master's only at 400. So I'm probably gonna time gate the lowest one, because I like to raise the lowest with my Natural Time Gate Weekends, because I've got blacksmithing contracts I can invest in other people. So Dungeon Master is probably going to get selected for me. So I would just, my general recommendation is bring up the lowest person. Because you can always just you can always use blacksmithing contracts to target other people. Ryan M. Rich, do I just quit once I get to end game? I don't know. That's a you question. Like, were you trying to complete the game? I don't know. No more to do in the game once the cores are unlocked. Champions are all epic. Patron quests are all done. So what you're saying is you've done all the base adventures, all the base variants, all the patron variants. All your cores are 15. I don't know if they're all supercharged, but you feel confident, apparently. Etc. They add new content to the game regularly. They add new champions to the game regularly, right? Every month we're getting a new at least one new champion, and we're getting at least one new content drop. So that's a constant addition. Now, if you're like, well, what do I do in between them? Most people at that point still do their Trials of Mount Tiamat, because you ain't got everybody at level 20 scales, guaranteed. Not that you need it, but you don't have it. Continue to try to supercharge all of their Modron cores. Again, may not be necessary, but that's progress people like to work on. And most, just about everybody that's at that point that's playing is gem farming, and they're usually Briv gem farming and working on their Briv jump. Right now, I have a lot of patron stuff that I just haven't bothered to do, which I got to get on. I haven't even done really anything for Elminster. I've just been, working on my Briv jumps, and I do the new adventures when they come in and the new base variants, but I haven't been doing all the patron stuff. Right? I do my trials. So it's whatever you want to do. Shevik, what does ABE mean, and is it important? Always be Eliwicking. This is Eliwick. You can't tell. This is one of the new skins. This is Modron Eliwick, and I love that this Modron skin, is actually a Modron, because they introduced some other skins in the past where they were Modron skins, but it's like Penelope's clearly in an amazing costume of a Modron. Andre is I I mean, it's still an amazing costume. Maybe not at the same level, right? But Eliwick got an actual Modron version, and so did, where are they? Vin Ursa. Let's go change Vin Ursa's costume. Oh, it's so good. So good. They got some actual Modron skins. So Always Be Eliwicking refers to the fact that Eliwick, as part of her deck of many things, can boost the gems you earn. Which is why Eliwick is one of the first two champions I now recommend to brand new players. If you have the ability to get you want Eliwick. You also want Diana. Eliwick's going to feed you gems that we talked about earlier. They're going to get you power throughout the entire curve of this game. More gems are important, but especially so early on. So getting Eliwick's going to earn you more gems, and just using her in all your formations as you're pushing for as far as you can, all the time. You might swap her out to finish things, but try to use her as much as possible. She's going to gain you lots of gems. The other is Diana. Diana is a speed champion whose speed effect works on every area in the game. But more importantly for a brand new player, I mean, that's pretty solid, but more importantly for a brand new player, she's also going to scavenge Electrum chests, and Electrum chests are great sources of power for you when you're brand new. They're going to help you gear up your champions, additional stuff just by having her in the formation. She's going to loot these. So they're kind of my new starter player recommendations are these two. Dop Lizzle. During the Winter Shield event, I purchased a pack containing an event boon hours before the event ended, thinking the boon would extend beyond the event. I was disappointed to find that it did not. What did I misunderstand? Honestly, you didn't read the text that says that event boons last just for the event. Occasionally there will be an event augment that says that boons last for 3 weeks from purchase, but that currently that isn't a core function. They only last during the event. They are event boons. They give you that bonus during the event. There was an augment that extended that because a lot of people complained about this. They tested it out. It wasn't available in Winter Shield. I honestly hope, truly, I thought they were going to run it once and realize that was a great idea and then just make it a permanent feature. Hasn't happened. So just, give your feedback to the developers. Dev Insights is on Thursdays, or post in the Discord, the official Discord, or on the subreddit. That those should be, that really, when you buy it, you should have the 3 weeks of time from the moment of purchase. Because it was nice when we had that, but it only ever happened once. Jam, what happens if I already own a champion that I time gate? Do the silver chests turn gold? Oh, wouldn't that be nice? No, they don't. If you already own a champ, it's this. This is what happens. I already own Dungeon Master, so I select Dungeon Master. He isn't the reward here. Normally, if you don't own a champion, you get Dungeon Master and a chest. Instead, I just get 3 gold chests, just like normal. You get a gold chest from each of these. And you still get the silver chests that you would get for progressing every 100 areas, like as a high water mark. But yeah, nothing gets better. It's just a way to continue to try to target a champion, grab 3 gold chests really easily to try to get them to full epic, and also get some extra item level. Which is why usually with a time gate, you want to time gate someone you don't own so that you can get them. Jam, how do I get the skins icon? You mean the skin representation on your task? You mean in the bench seat? Okay. So how do you get the skins to show up down here in the bench seats? You have to turn off console portraits. So the default here, console UI is the driver's license, passport photos, mugshots, however you want to think about it. This is hand-drawn artwork, specifically just for this purpose. They didn't want to do this art for every single skin every time they add one and have it switch. So these are the default pictures that will always be there. Whereas if I switched and I turn this off, this is the original UI for the game. It is a kind of a headshot of whatever they currently look like in the formation. And that includes representing their skins. Yeah. And a quick follow-up by Headless Chicken. Do skins do anything for the game? I mean, it's cosmetics for the most part. There is I think there's a blessing somewhere. Still kind of upset they added it. Costume Party. All champion damage plus 20% additively for each champion's skin unlocked. So I have a lot. I don't even know how I got that many. Not all of them are cash purchases, so there is a little bit of power here, but it's an ignorable amount. Madness. For my free time gate, I had Black Viper, Aeon, and Beetle and Grim as my options. I chose Black Viper because I only had 2 champions in that seat. Nice! Should I have chosen Aeon or Beetle and Grim? Well, because you said you only had 2 champions, it sounds like you're working towards 3 champions in each bench seat, which is a fantastic goal to work towards. 3 champions in each bench seat will unlock you Split the Party 2, which gets you your fast core and another background party. And the fast core is the best core, in my opinion, for general usage stuff. So since you're early enough on that you're still working towards those milestones, in my opinion, that was the best choice you could have made. Now, that doesn't mean Black Viper is an amazing champion. But early on, you're not necessarily trying to choose the best champions. You're trying to choose the champions that are going to get you to Split the Party 2 fastest. And that's 3 champions in each bench seat. Headless Chicken, is it worth it to buy her always pull a green gem card? Yes. That's one of the things you'll note that wasn't showing in my Thayan Enclave. That actually boosts, that guarantees you're going to have at least 1 gem card. Every gem card she's holding, that's the green one here, can max out at 100% gems off bosses. Even just 1 gem card means you're getting double gems on a run from bosses. You can have up to 5 gem cards. So it's going to cap out at 500%, which means 6 times the gems. This is why you always be Eliwicking. Because even if you're only ever pulling, even if you're only just guaranteeing you're going to get 1, and then you get bad luck and you always have 1, you're still getting double gems. So it's amazing to get that. It ends up working out way better. You end up raising your average gem gain by a lot just by having that 1 guaranteed slot. Even if you don't have Eliwick yet, honestly, even if you don't have Eliwick yet, because you should get her at some point, come to the shop, find that gem feat. It's down here somewhere. That makes Eliwick always pull a gem card. What's it called? It's not even equipped right now because this isn't a normal formation. Gem. It's just called Gem. And get that. Just for when you unlock her, because you need to unlock her. Jay-Z Lavea, who is a better champion, Briv or Penelope? Gotta pick one for time gates. Briv. I love me some Penelope, but Briv's the better champion. Jam, when should you redraw Eliwick's card? Does depend where you are in a run, or should always try to get 5. You said redraw Eliwick's gem, but like when I'm gem farming, I'm not worried about what she is drawing. I slot that when I'm gem farming, I just slot that gem feat so that she at least is going to get 1. The only time you really want to re-roll is when you're towards the end. There's two ways to choose. If you're putting Eliwick in to actually try to build power and use her to complete an adventure, then the moment she gets loaded in your formation and you get the ultimate available, you want to park a familiar here if you have an extra one. Because she gets stacking power by the number of cards she's redrawn in an adventure. And you only worry when you get to the end about what she's actually holding at the end. You can then cycle through the cards and try to get the best scenario buffs for her as you're finishing. But when you're gem farming, you don't want this out. You just want the feed in, and whatever she draws, she draws. Like if you're just rushing through and just getting whatever she draws, she draws. Enjoy with the gem feed in. She's going to always have at least 1. It's always going to be the first one. This is how you can tell I knew I didn't have that feed in because it would have been over here on the left. And just enjoy the extra gems. Yeah. only have 130 costumes? I thought I had more. Honestly, I'm shocked that I have over 200. I don't... I mean, my go-to ones are obviously dwarves, but this was purchased outside of the game. And pirates. Give me them pirate skins. But I have picked up a lot of others over time. But it's like, you know, well, 6 years. With their fun fact, folks, the first skin that was added to the game was at the 1 year anniversary of Idle Champions, and everybody could earn it as an unlock. It was Birthday Party Jarlaxle, which I can't show you because he's on injury duty. It's the most ridiculous skin. It's the one with him holding a balloon sword with a balloon head. It's like the most ridiculous skin, and it really set the tone. It really told everybody right away. Guess what? We can do just about anything with skins. Which is then, you know, echoed in the fact that there's a Russ skin where he is the ship. He's wearing the ship. He's got this mask, and then his pants are the water. So good. So gooder. So gooder. So much gooder than when, you know, just regular skins. I had to buy that feat, but even the icon next to it is gone? What did I do wrong? I have no idea. Restart your client. And submit a ticket, but it still stays that way. Jarlaxle is the kind of guy who'd totally show up to a party in his birthday suit. He'd have his boots on and his eye patch at the very least. Very least. Oh. Yeah, so you're trying to buy it from here? You're trying to buy it from here. You can't. You literally have to go to the Thayan Enclave. You have to buy it from here. It'll be over here. So you have to buy the buy now button. It's grayed out if you don't have enough corrupted gems, but you can't buy it from the place where you would buy green gem feeds. You have to buy it from here. It's the only place you can purchase it from. I didn't really look at what are my other weekly offers? One for the past. Far realm. This freaks me out, so I don't know. It's a good discount though. Legendary discount on the cheapest skin makes it super inexpensive. But, yeah, what do we got? What do we got over here? Retirement sale. Is this the same stuff as last time? It is. Yeah. Goodbye. You don't have anything to buy. We ran out of questions. We got about 10 minutes left, folks. You got it. Nice. Excellent. Let's see if there's anything else we can comment in from chat. Oh yeah, another thing skins can do is like Jim. If you have Jim Dark Magic, he has an ability that if they're wearing skins, he's got a little bit of a bonus, but yeah. For the most part, skins are just cosmetics. Skins are the cosmetics, familiars are quality of life. Those are their primary purposes. And then everything else in the platinum shop now, which I should call it instead of the cash shop, is basically, you know, pay to progress faster. You can earn the power provided by everything in the platinum shop by just playing the game. And now with daily rewards, you can earn platinum just by logging in. I get the daily boost because this is the best. It's $5, and you get 700 platinum immediately upon purchase. And then after 7 days, you would have 840, and 840 platinum is $6. It's $6, but you can get that in the 7 days of logins with a $5 daily boost, and then everything else is gravy, right? Everything else is a nice extra bonus. It is the best way. That daily boost is the best way to get platinum in the game. So I just buy it every month. I just refresh it every month. Presto McPurface. What do the numbers over a hub on the mini map represent? Oh, the adventure nodes. If there is something special there, like if you were to get to this node, unlock it, you'd see a little bubble with a number over it. It should be a 1. And it should represent the fact that there is something unlockable that isn't usual, that you like a permanent reward that you could get from this adventure hub. In which case it would be Dritz Doerden as an evergreen. Some adventure hubs are going to have, some adventures have skins that are rewards. How I have some of the skins. Some adventures have other things like in Tomb of Annihilation, in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and in Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Those are completed campaigns. The storyline is complete, and they all have 3 variants. That is a complete campaign. And the very final variant, so in the very final adventure hub, they call them a capstone variant. It has capstone rewards. You get like some Modron chests and a feat. So it'll have a bunch of numbers over it. Yeah. Usually, yeah, you'll see that in an event where the event node will have a bunch of numbers, and it's because you can unlock a champion and a bunch of chests, and you know. So it's just telling you that there's some kind of extra reward other than just the gems and favor that you would be normally getting. Trainer One, what did you think of the Fortune's Wheel finale? Raced through it and did the content. I mean, it's neat. I don't read everything. I saw some highlights. This is actually Mars's first story stuff, and I was seeing people were posting in my Discord some of the clips, and it was good. There was some good text in there. I appreciated it. But yeah, I flew through those on stream and did the variants, did the base variants that came with them. And it was good. I think, you know, there were some challenging things there with alignments to figure out. Like one of them, like the champion the key champion it gave me was garbage initially, so I went and did another adventure, and then came back, or I went and did another variant and came back and did that, and it changed my thing. And I know there's some people, because that's how you have to change your key champion. You have to go complete some other piece of content. Some people are like, well, but I've done all the content. What do I do? Well, you wait until next week when they add more adventures and variants, or just a bunch more variants. Like you just have to wait until they add more content. But it'll be done. Yeah. Sentient Microbe, what's the best way to chase epics to full epic my roster? Patron chests from doing patron challenges? That's one way, yeah. Full epic, it really comes down to a combination of 2 things, and it's going to depend on, you know, how much work you want to put in. Patrons, from doing your patron chores and doing patron variants, getting a bunch of currency. That's a pretty solid way to do it. You can also target a specific champion if you know they're close to a pity timer on their named chests. You can target them with a time gate, right? You're only going to get 3 gold chests, but back in my day, when I was trying to get full epic, I did a combination of targeted time gates and patron chests to get there. Also keep in mind, now that you can flex champions during an event, that's another way. You can use your bounty contracts that you're getting out of chests from spending your gems to try to get champions to full epic when their event returns. So we have Grand Revel coming next. Do I know all the champions in that? Oh, I just did the time gate thing, so it's not going to want to. Gaarawarr, come on. Let me see if let me pull up. I know some of them. I think I can find some of them rather quickly. Grand Revel. Let me look at last year's Grand Revel guide. So, who's going to be returning? Presto. Chango. Presto, Brother Uriah, Vi. Human. Everybody loves epic eggs. Rainbow eggs. Everybody needs their rainbow eggs, but Human's going to be back. So if you need to gear Human, great. Havilar, Halton, and Birdsong. Birdsong's Bird Strong. Birdsong is amazingly strong DPS and support. Good in both of those situations. So just with those 7 that we know are returning from Grand Revel, there's, you have the ability to get epic on some of those champions, right? You can flex up to 4 if you get the supporter slot. Plus someone's going to be a returning champion that's getting reworked, usually how it works. And you can gear up, obviously, the new one. At a certain point, once you get to full epic on everyone, it becomes easier because you just have to worry about getting full epic on the new champion. And it's toast. But to get there, time gates, patron chests, and obviously now flexing champions and events are a great addition to that make it even easier than it was for me back in my day. I think is there something I want to specifically say? Oh, one great tip. I have a tip for doing this for patrons. What I did was I'm a post-it note kind of person. I like physical things, and I had post-it notes in different colors, and I did a different post-it note for each patron, and I listed off who qualified for that patron that I had that didn't have full epic. And then I just visually looked at those, and then I tried to target and I looked for who overlapped, and I'd try to pull people out of other people's pools by targeting certain patrons first, so that it would make it easier to target others. And I did that one by one, and it made it go way faster between that and time gates. Again, flexing champions is going to make it even easier now. And just remember, if you have up through Elminster done, he has a pool of champions in there, the most recent champions. Whereas these are going to have the older champions. So just, figure out your pools and target it that way is my recommendation. McCall, is it worth investing in the retiring DLC, especially if we don't have the champ? Depends on the DLC. Depends on the DLC and ultimately it's going to depend on your disposable income. So 1344 is going to be what? It's going to be like $8-ish or so, somewhere around there. So yeah, obviously I'm a fan of Diana. This is a launch discount. This is a retiring discount. So obviously you can get, if you wanted Diana, you don't have her, you could get her cheaper with the launch of this rather than the retiring one, but it's going to come with different things. Like this one's going to come with that, which could be pretty big. Yeah, so it just kind of depends. Like if you don't have or Kira for $6, that's half price. Orkira's still the queen of debuffs in the game. Melf is a speed champion that's fairly solid, but he has a varying speed effect. Yeah. So yeah, just it kind of depends. Kind of depends on, who you have, what you're trying to get out of it. Disposable income. Dramara, why has Codename not made a dwarf glitch feat for all champions, as dwarves are clearly the best species? Look, we're on the same page with that one. I'm actually, they made the glitches for Catti-Brie and Wolfgar, and while I like that there's skins for them, honestly, they should have just been honorary dwarves because they're Brunor's kids. In the same way that Brunor is an same way that Mehen is an honorary tiefling because he adopted 2 of them. But we have glitch ones, and that's neat. I would rather just they add more dwarves. Final question of the day goes to Headless Chicken. I have Birdsong, but I never use them. What makes them so special? Honestly, they're just tuned really strong. They've got a really strong tuning on them. So they can buff themselves as a support. So their support feature actually buffs themselves, which is nice. Their support buff is pretty strong. They can also buff within 2 adjacencies. So they have a solid support buff. They also have fairly good damage scaling. They're just strong. I don't know what to tell you. They prioritize their specs based off your alignment, so it doesn't, you just base that off whoever your DPS is. And then they like a number of certain champions, either lawful, female, or bards. They've got, good stacking, good itemization. At this point, good feats, good skin selection. I got a lot of different skins now. We got the Silver Bell Bird Songs, which was the giveaway one. I should put this on now. But yeah, they have got really strong scaling. They do have what I call mathematically overpowered abilities, so abilities that have that multiplicatively stack, but with item support that affects the pre-stack multiplier. That's the strongest potential for damage in the game. As a support, she can do bud based damage, so against bosses. So this can help chew through armor even when she's a support, which, I mean, like, anytime I can get extra armor shred, love it. So yeah, it's just great. That's gonna be everything for today. I know it was a little weird one, but we did it. We'll be back to normal kinds of tutorial shows next week, I think. They say that. Hold on. Let me check the schedule. Yes. A more normal tutorial show next weekend. Remember, next week is also a content drop week, which means you're also going to get another natural time gate. Because February starts on a weird day. Events don't start until the first Wednesday, so Grand Revel won't arrive until the 5th, right? But the 1st is Saturday, so we're gonna have a regular tutorial show next week. Thank you to all of you for joining me today and asking questions. Thank you to Jay. Jay was my moderator. I skipped all the intros today. I'm so sorry, Jay. But I wasn't doing any intros during that video because it wouldn't have made sense. It gets restreamed. Jay, thank you for grabbing all the questions. You are amazing as always. This is the last stream for the weekend, for the week. On this channel, they'll return on Tuesday here, but you can find me over at Twitch TV /Gar. Me over at Twitch TV /Gaarawarr. I need a burrito. Mondays through Fridays, Mondays and Wednesdays, I have a stream called Idle Chatter where we play Idle Champions. And you can ask me all kinds of questions there. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I play other games. Right now, we're playing through Dragon Age, the Veil Guard. Come get... Oh, I gotta type this out in chat because the pun is too good. Come get Veil Guard with me over there. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Veil. Such a good pun. All right. Thanks for hanging out. I have no idea. This song we're going out on is my song. We heard it earlier. We're going out on it again. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
God